So welcome to episode number 51. How is everybody doing?
All good. All good.
You know, I wanted
Back in full effect.
I wanted to mention this to you guys because I'm on YouTube right now and I'm seeing a lot of people recording from remote locations and different locations.
Who started that trend?
We were the pioneers of this, yeah? And I feel like we need our credit. We started this. Like, we've recorded 51 episodes and we've never been in the same location.
Never ever. 51 episodes.
Call it laziness or innovation. You decide.
Only
but
Daniel.
it still works.
It still works.
Like, so 51 episodes later, still here, just about.
Oh, that's jokes. So you're here with Olu, Shawel, Daniel, and Pabilo.
Yeah.
So I want to start to do this on every episode until we get out the Corona season. How's everyone feeling? Temperature?
Healthy?
Health?
Still alive, still pumping.
Family? How's everyone?
Oh, family life is amazing. Woo!
Daniel?
Baby girl is coming soon.
All good. No complaints, thank God.
How are you doing, Olu? Because we know from that episode, a couple episodes back, that you're shacking up with the wifey and they've got a big smile.
Work is not as busy. He's got a new chair.
Because you can see
he's repotted his plants.
He's got plants, he's got chairs, he's smiling wider than ever before. You're good, Olu.
We're going to discuss some of those things in this episode. So stay tuned and let's get started.
Take off, take flight with you. For we never fly, but we're flying.
So in this episode, we're going into
Say nothing, big man.
a conversation about what have we learned about ourselves during this pandemic, during this quarantine, COVID-19, staying at home. We're going to go into detail about what is it meant to us and what we learn about ourselves, right?
Let's start with Daniel. Daniel, go ahead.
Why me?
Yeah, Daniel, what have you learned about yourself?
No, what we have learned is Daniel has one of the most luxurious durag collections in purple velvet, baby. Purple velvet.
It's blue.
Oh, it's blue.
Yeah.
I thought it was purple. Oh shit. All right, okay.
Yeah, it's blue. Got them last week. I thought it's a nice time for me to treat my hair, oil my scalp. You know, make sure, that the no split ends and all that stuff, because going from a trim every 2 to 3 weeks, you don't really get to treat your hair, look after it. So it's nice to put it back into a healthy state. Might get the Jerichos out in a couple of weeks.
Suit. Funny.
You think I'm lying?
I was watching Coming to America the other day, and I was thinking it'd be cool actually to have those hairstyles back.
Is it?
I think so. Don't make me go back and get my sporting waves, my dad.
The Jericho. This is today. This is the conditioner.
Yo, P, you can grow hair?
I'll get my hair. Hey, listen. I can even relax. I can even relax this amount. Trust me.
Don't force it. You'll burn your head.
I've been relaxing. I've been playing around with those products and relaxing my hair since year 9. Boy,
we can tell because you got nothing left.
Yeah, it's true. I don't burn it all off. Come on, guys. Daniel, what skills have you learned?
That's probably why the other week we were FaceTiming Pabilo's dad. Just said,
that's why, mate. I'm telling you, mate. I used to go. Anyway, that's another story. I went. Yeah, go on. I had that wet look.
What? That when it rains, it just starts to go.
I'm telling you. Listen, I had so much sporting wave that you could see it on my forehead, man. It was crazy. Go ahead.
I'm laughing because one time
the waves were crazy.
I went to the barbershop. I put Dax in my hair. Yeah, before I went, barber goes, next time you come barbershop, take all this grease out your head. It was clogging up his clippers.
It's true. Hey, speaking of, in fact, that's actually a nice segue, real quick, in terms of things that we've learned or skills that we've picked up during this period. I think a lot of us, I've been doing it since year 7, but a lot of us have learned how to cut our own hair during this period, which I think is a very valuable skill.
Yeah, I can actually.
I'm not saying you're doing it well. I'm just saying you're cutting your hair. I'm looking at.
I can't even take all the credit for it. So my girlfriend helped to give me a level 2 all over. So, and it's not bad, you know.
That looks like 1.5. Let's go back to the start. So, what have we learned about ourselves during this period? Daniel, please.
Well, I don't want to go first, but I should have actually written all of it down. What have I learned about myself? I've learned that I like a routine. That's one thing. I'll share some like obviously work-related things and other things as well. I've learned I like a routine because the first few weeks adjusting were quite difficult, but I missed that routine because you can get a bit lazy, go to bed late, wake up when you want. But I've also learned that whilst I like obviously time with my wife, I also like some alone time. I like a change of scenery. I think that's very important. I like to exercise to start my day right, or break up my day or finish the day differently. Also like getting the fresh air. So whilst we've been told to stay inside, getting fresh air is also important to me. I've also learned I'm a home person. I've been doing the things around the house. I've been taking care of the lawn, watering it in the morning, early in the morning. Been doing a few DIY, looking after some plants, and I know what P's waiting for. Obviously, I've been practicing my cooking.
I'm so gutted that we were supposed to come to your house on the weekend.
18th. Yeah. So I've been practicing new recipes, new drinks, etc., which has been fun. Also managed to practice my editing skills, photography skills, my drone as well. I've been taking it out for a few flights.
Bro, you've done a lot, man.
This before. I have to maximize the time. I've also just before this, I did my food hygiene level 1 safety for if you want to cook in public places. Did my drone theory as well. So these are all things I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But these are things.
Daniel, are you sure you want this coronavirus stuff to end, big man?
One thing I will say, actually, I think it's actually quite nice to hear because I think we could also sense that you were struggling in the beginning, and I think everybody was just adjusting. But you've not only adjusted, you've almost thrived through this situation. So I think that's a big I really hats off to you because to Shua's point, I don't think you want this to end anytime soon.
No, I don't think I do. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've kind of climatized myself to it. I'm enjoying it because even at the weekends, although I'm still home as I would be during the week for work, I've kind of broken my day up into sections. So I've mentally said, okay, this is what I want to do today. And even I've never been a big consumer of Netflix. Never really been. I used to watch it maybe when there's a series on, or maybe once a month. But there've been some programs or films that I thought, I'm gonna give this go and watch. So I've set time aside at the weekend to watch a film, put my phone away, and actually just enjoy the film. And this could be me watching it by myself as well, and just really enjoying it, not having any distractions. So it's also allowed me to, structure my weekends better because I know I'm not going out, I'm not going to do anything. So what do I want to do at the weekend to break it up from having a typical weekday roll into a weekend and then back to a weekday?
That's powerful, man. I think we can end the episode here, man. that works for people. That works. Just take that. Sure.
Okay, sure.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go after that. Sure.
Come on, sure. Go ahead.
Daniel, what were you gonna say? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Ollie, what about you? But sure, you're gonna. You got the mic.
Sorry, Daniel, is that what you were gonna say? You were gonna say, Ollie, go ahead. Ollie, big man, go ahead.
No, I know what Ollie's learned. Ollie's just learned about doing these challenges and nominating people and tagging them.
Running up some deep hills.
I'm not gonna lie though. Ollie maintained a very good pace going up that hill. He really
strong knees.
Again, hats off to him. He didn't slow down. Ollie, what have you learned during this period?
Ollie, you haven't frozen. You're still blinking. Carry on. He's trying it, and he's just like.
So mine's been slightly different to Daniel's.
Not much.
So obviously, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago I was extremely busy with work. I think. Go.
Busy with work.
Yeah, because we were in quarter close.
I thought you were busy with something else.
What kind of work, player?
we were busy with quarter close.
Okay. Closing, yeah? Closing. Okay.
in terms of quarantine,
Chest is getting bigger, cuz.
He's doing that bench press, dog.
I feel like I should mute with these two.
Go. I'm getting hot, cuz.
Okay.
Whoa.
250 on the chest.
Okay. So for me, I'll say the biggest thing I've learned. So
No, come on.
Okay,
Come on. One house.
So previously, I was a consultant, so a lot of my time was, I would say, isolated away from people. When you travel and you're by yourself and you just have to get on with life. So the element of just being by myself, or in regards to being away from all your friends and interacting and going out, that part hasn't been really difficult. But I think what I've learned about myself is that I struggle to not be busy.
Yeah.
Which is something I need to work on. Because even after the sort of crazy busy time of work, I found ways to make myself busy again. This weekend I spent it recording a YouTube video on
Great video,
financials. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Great
it.
video.
Like spend the weekend recording a video on like property financials and how to start up a company. And I know I struggle with not being busy, which is worrying, right? Because you don't want to go all your life and always be busy and always be crazy manic, to the point that I'm still in group chats, which I don't have the time to respond which is surprising to think. You're in a pandemic, you're at home, you should be doing less per se, and you're not having that time. So I think the biggest thing I've learned about myself, which I need to work on, is that I enjoy being busy to a point that it's unhealthy, and I need to better learn how to not be so busy and be more focused on what I do. So slightly different from Daniel in terms of how he's excelled. Mine is more.
But Olu, that's a big revelation to have, actually.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Olu, yeah, but Olu, I actually think you're speaking to that point you mentioned resonates with me. And for those that don't know, I've been on maternity leave. Paternity leave for paternity leave. Sorry, for
you gave birth.
It's been a while, big man.
You look good.
Listen, if you saw what I was doing in the hospital, you could say I gave birth. Trust me. For the last 5 months, and so in effect, you could say I have, in essence, piloted financial freedom for 5 months. And what you're speaking to, I think, is what I experienced at the very beginning, which was the idea of having free time. Sounds great in our minds. Once you enter that period, you'll find that actually it's a disaster, because maybe it's because we're used to being busy and being useful and having a routine. But what I think you're speaking to, Olo, is using your time well, right? Whether it's for yourself or for others. Maybe, I don't know if you're speaking about overworking yourself to the point where you don't know how to relax, but I think there's a part of you that's speaking to, I feel guilty if I go days without doing anything, right? Yeah. Because that's just not in my nature. I've got so much more to give. And I think that's a very important point, which I think a lot of us, and I think Dan, you've touched on it, that's why you have a routine. A routine keeps you basically using your time effectively well during a period where actually you have the license to not do anything, right? And so, but yeah, Olu, continue. That's interesting.
And I think that talking about that bit, I feel like I shouldn't feel bad, right? Not going through a period of time where what is this?
I think that is Serena. Is that Serena Williams?
It's Serena's twin. Because Papa's not giving birth, isn't it?
I got that Tyson. I think that's Venus Williams. That Mike Tyson neck, man. Go on. go, Olu.
So because I wouldn't say the stuff that I'm doing is not useful. It's just I want to be able to take a few days and just relax and not have stuff to do. But I automatically get that guilty feeling. Whereas like, okay, as soon as I've finished that video, I don't sit down and chill. It's like, okay, what next do I need to do? Okay, what next do I need to think about? Okay, let me go and put a to-do list. Okay, I need to review all my pensions and understand it. Like There's never a time where I'm
Yeah,
just
but-
like, just chill.
how many pensions you got, boy? No, but the thing is, no, but Olu, honestly, like be careful about my personal opinion. Be careful about that's an asset of yours.
It's
Right.
it's an asset.
Obviously, you have to understand where at what points it leads to
You're
burnout.
overworking. Yeah, it leads
But
to
in
burnout,
essence, you are doing more than the average person because you always want to get something done or get something ticked off and achieved. Now it depends on how you structure your day and how you do it. But
and I think probably you mentioned the key thing is being careful that it doesn't lead to a burnout, right?
yeah,
So let's take, for example, I've just come from that crazy 2 weeks, right, of work. Should the next week after that, should I decide on the weekend that I should do a YouTube video? Maybe not. Maybe I should have taken that weekend to just recalibrate and rest.
I think you need to take a leaf out that episode where Pab shared that book on rest.
But I find that I enjoy having a project, having a task to do, versus just saying, you know what, let me just chill.
I don't think that's a bad thing though, Luke, because if you're doing things that actually give you energy, if putting a video together is something that actually gives you energy, then maybe that is a form of rest and recharging for you, because it's not like you're having to do the quarter close with work or something. So I would actually say that even if things feel like work or on paper may be in black and white work, if it's something that actually gives you energy, then maybe that is a form of rest in itself.
Yeah, no, sure. I see what you're saying. It's just, I feel like sometimes we've made being busy so sexy, whereas like, oh yeah, I'm booked and I'm busy, sort of mentality. And it's like
or the perception of looking busy.
Yeah, or the perception of being busy. And it's like we're in a pandemic, right? I could understand.
No, sorry, go ahead. Finish your point now.
No, I could understand just taking a little bit slower, especially after coming off the 2 weeks that I've been in.
So I know not to digress too much, but just on that topic about being busy and looking busy and all of this stuff, I actually read there's an author that I love. His name is James Clear, and he has a book called Atomic Habits, and we've reviewed his book before. But he has a great Instagram page if anyone wants to look for it. It's James Clear, Clear, and he has a mailing list and an email that he sends out every Thursday, and it's one of the most word for word most efficient emails on the internet. But one thing that he actually talked about in his recent email letters is this whole thing about being busy, and how a few years ago being busy was seen as like a status symbol, and it's like, oh, I've got lots of important work. But now it's really, especially in the last couple of years, he's one of the advocates of changing the perception of it. But being busy actually just shows that you're very bad at managing your priorities. And people typically who you could say have got very important work, have got this or that, they're the people where if they actually manage their workloads in the right way, manage their time in the right way, then these are the people who shouldn't really be the busiest, but they're just managing their time effectively. So actually, and it's interesting, after reading how he talks about it, now whenever I hear anyone say, oh, I'm too busy, or I've got this, or I've got that, now it's actually changed my perception of it, because now I'm thinking, well, why are you not managing your time where this isn't being managed effectively, and you can't find the time to do something which is clearly important to you or those around you? So,
and Shuwal, what you've just mentioned there is I agree with, because I think it means twofold. I think one, it means what you've just explained. Two, it means you're taking on too much, and you need to cut something off.
I need to prioritize.
And you need to prioritize.
Yeah.
And I think those are the areas that during this pandemic I've realized that I need to do a better job at.
So Pete, what's your
I don't you agree. So we can come on to that point. Oh my God. For me, what I've learned is I can't stress enough how much I love my family. I don't want. No, seriously, I'm not. I don't want to sound. And I tell you why I said I don't want to sound cliche. I'm not saying this for Lauren. None of that. It's because I know that there. Well, I think I know. I heard someone say there's going to be actually the divorce rates are actually going to increase during this period, because you're spending the most amount of time you've ever spent with your spouse. So you can easily knock heads clash, which can then lead to sort of arguments and then fallouts. and that has that we're nowhere near that, right? And it's just like I just love being in the same room and spending time with Karim and Lauren, even if we're not doing anything, right? The fact that we're all together, we're all in one space. There have been times where I'm sitting on the couch and Lauren says to me, "So do you want to do something?" I said, "I'm good. You guys are here. I'm enjoying. Karim is making noise. Yeah. You're relaxing. You're recharging. I've got a book in my hand. This is life. I love it. It's perfect. I don't want to go nowhere. Right? It's sunny outside." She goes, let's go for a drive." No. I love my family, baby. No,
that conversation is just no. It was like how much fuel prices cost.
It's gone down though. It's gone. I don't know. So I think no one's been out. Fuel prices has dropped,
and maybe it's, I'm looking at Daniel's comments. Maybe it's to do with the fact that I have that intention every single morning to say, look, I always have affirmations around my family, and maybe that leads to loving that space and enjoying that. So that's one thing. And the second thing, I think I also enjoy this sort of, you could argue that this COVID-19 period is a challenge for a lot of people, a challenge to find a routine, a challenge to also be successful, a challenge to, they say when you come out of this period, you need to have new skills and new investments that are going. And for me, I think I thrive off knowing that there's probably a large population of people that are struggling, and being that sort of leader in the market and saying, guys, let's even be stronger given the more challenging situation. So I think a challenge where I can basically turn it upside down and then use that to say, look, let's still find a way to have a routine. So I think those are the two things for me personally I've learned about myself.
Interesting.
Do you think Lauren would say the same thing, or she's like, I want to get out the house and do stuff ASAP?
No, let me not make it as if I've locked the doors and I'm keeping everyone hostage. So we do go out. We could obviously go out more. I think, how does Lauren feel? I think for her it's probably more challenging. I think actually, to be honest, I give hats off to her, because whereas I've got work to keep me going from a property standpoint, her work is obviously Karim, and it's nice for her to get maybe longer breaks than having to deal with him the whole day. And she is still great mind space, great, health. So so she's the quarantine radio. But yeah, no, it's so family and relishing the challenge.
Right, before we start talking about a very important topic, which is quarantine radio, I can just quickly say from my side, what I have realized is a couple of weeks ago, by the time this episode is released, a couple of weeks ago, I fell ill for 4 days. And it was one of the most boring 4 days of the last 5, 6, 7 years. So one thing that I realized is I hate when my routine is out of whack and all I can do is just lay on the sofa and I'm being sick and this type of stuff. So that was the biggest thing for me, where if my routine is good, then I feel good. But then if I can't go to the gym, if I can't eat things, if I can't do that, I get very bored very quickly, having to lay and sit on my sofa and not do anything. And then it's a downward spiral. So that's one thing. Two, I've also realized that, kind of similar to Olu, not that I'm always trying to keep myself busy, but I've always got something planned, either the coming weekend, the following week, 2 weeks ahead. I've got things planned that I'm looking forward to. And that is the time when I'm really relaxing and I can take my mind off work and everything else to really recharge. And obviously at the moment, because I can't book any flights to go anywhere, not having that option is something that it just feels like at the moment things are just a bit of like a Groundhog Day. It's just a bit repetitive. And I'm someone that personally doesn't like the repetitiveness because I get bored quite quickly. So these are my two things. One is the importance of routine, and two, being able to plan things ahead gives me stuff to look forward to. And if I can't do that, then I'm also getting a bit bored and restless. But maybe I need to be a bit more patient as well. So I think the next one was on.
Are we enjoying the alone time? Are we enjoying the alone time, or are we missing the family and social interaction?
But good point, because I think a while ago we spoke about the use of technology and mobile phones, and we shared our screen time. And if anything, mine's gone up, because although we somewhat can be. I can be said to, my phone controls me. I'm a heavy and high usage of my phone. it's allowed me to connect to family and friends a lot more. So even in this time where we've been in quarantine, those that I know that live alone or by themselves, I've been quite deliberate in checking up on them more frequently, not just by messages, but by phone calls or video calls, because of course a phone call is different to actually seeing someone and interacting. So I've been quite deliberate with that. So I have a list of people that I check in on regularly, just to make sure they're okay, because I can't imagine how someone might feel in times like this. So with family, that's also something I've done. But even generally speaking, I've always don't live so close to my family, and my mum's with us now anyway, actually. So it's quite different. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been enjoying this period. I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. So whilst I do miss my family, I think growing up I've always been used to being in different countries to family, etc., living in different locations. So I'm quite used to it. So I don't necessarily feel the strain, so to speak.
I think it's quite disturbing how much I haven't missed the social interaction, to be honest with you.
But that
because
very quickly, obviously we spent 4 years, just over 4 years living together. That to me doesn't come as a surprise about you.
The reason why trying to get
Fabilo to be like, Pete, let's go to this or let's go to that bit. It's like blood out of a stone sometimes.
I think the reason why
about it is no one is surprised. Anyone that knows,
he's like, I'm surprised.
No, the reason why it's probably not good is because as I think about expanding to sort of what I'm doing generally and some of the things that we're working on moving forward, being more social is part of that. Perhaps not being more social in terms of going to parties and raves, but connecting with people and reaching out more and galvanizing more groups. And I know that's something that I need to sort of do more of. And so, but whereas I obviously have this opportunity, I'm sort of saying to myself, I love just me, myself, and I and the family. So it's quite disturbing. Disturbing to the point where couple years, I'm good. Yeah.
But just on that quick question, Pete, on that, do you feel that you're spending more time with Lauren and Karen, but less time? But does that mean this is less time with like your mum, your brothers, friends, that stuff?
No, we speak. It's kind of basically as if we was still in Basel.
Okay.
So I'm not talking to my brothers and my mother as much. Or we might have periods where over a period of 2-3 days, it's like every day, and then we just don't speak as per like it's back in Basel. But I popped over there a few times. Everyone's kept their 2 meters distance, which is quite weird. And yeah, so family boy.
Olu, how are you finding? Because obviously you're staying with the.
For me, it's been great. I'm used to this, right? It's like I think it's difficult not being able to see your friends, but I think similar to you and Shuel, I lived abroad for a period of time, right?
Oh yeah,
so
that's true.
You're used to, I'm used to 4 months not being able to physically see anyone, like in terms of close friends and family, and communicate through technology. Like we are blessed. We're in a generation now. Like a few days ago, like yesterday, I was FaceTiming my mom. Like there's no reason to really miss anyone. I even think like this time you have more time to actually slow down and communicate and call everyone that you need to call. So do I miss, I'm not single anymore, so I'm not missing the clubs or the raves like I used to back in the day,
Shuel must be struggling, bro.
Wait, did you used to miss that stuff back in the day? Tell me more.
Nah.
Yo, Shuel must be struggling.
I'm good, guys. I'm good.
So are you keeping up, B?
So that's the question.
The best way to describe how I feel.
Shuel, where you at the moment? You're in.
I'm in Stockholm.
I lived in Sweden for a little while. So I know you missed the nightlife in.
I'm not. I don't. You guys got the wrong impression of me.
Next subject. It's
I'm not big nightlife.
It's getting hot. HOT.
I think
So
Go
go
on
ahead.
then.
No. I was gonna raise another question, but
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, go ahead. No, I was gonna say, but we kind of touched on it. It was like, what have we been able to do that otherwise we wouldn't have been able to due to lack of time? But we kind of have touched on it, like spending more time with Lauren and Karim. Not
you,
well.
me.
Huh?
I'm joking. No, because you said it, and I said, well, not you. I have spent more time with them. It's fine. You have to go on. Continue.
When you listen to the podcast, you understand.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I touched on mine as well, and I think Ollie shared his as about being busy and trying always to find new projects. But it was, what have you noticed? Even how and it's not necessarily what we've learned about ourselves, but in terms of what have we learned or what have we seen people change or adapt to this particular pandemic? And when I say that, I mean, I've noticed a definite increase in terms of Instagram lives, in terms of people doing fitness lives to help other people. Cooking as well. A lot of people have recreated, say, Wagamama, Vapiano, and other places' food as well. So people have improved their cooking skills.
By the way, if anyone wants to find any really good recipes focusing on desserts and cocktails, please go on Instagram @HomeWithDJ. Is that the right page?
Yeah.
Cool.
And also I'm gonna throw a plug as well. Daniel and I, good friend Anu, the new kitchen. So she had a Instagram live on how to make jollof rice, which was actually really, really good.
I mean, I think it was Catherine that cooked that, right? It wasn't you, because it looked so much better than what you usually cook.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Next subject.
No, but it's, I think we've all seen an increase in terms of Instagram lives that have gone on. We've probably all heard about Tory Lanez gaining like over 1.5 million in like 30 days on Instagram.
Well, Daniel, were you on that live? Were you watching that live?
I'm fast asleep. You can talk for yourself, Ollie. You can talk for yourself.
So what's so interesting about this quarantine radio? Will you say quarantine radio? Did you say
quarantine?
I don't know. Is that how he says it? Is that how he says it? I don't know. I've never.
And who is it? Who's doing it?
I heard it's Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez.
He's trying to act like he doesn't know about
it. Funny. Every time quarantine radio comes on, right, and I get a notification saying Tory Lanez is live, guaranteed within the first 5 minutes. He goes back. He's messaging me or calling me being like, Tory Lanez is on.
You're dumb.
Wait, where in the States is he based?
Who's Tory Lanez?
Yeah, Tory Lanez. Where in the States?
You know I say Tory Lanez because when I asked Google Play to play Tory Lanez, it says, "Yep, playing Tory Lanez."
So you know it. Where is he based in the US?
Come on, man. Do I know him?
Where is he based in the US?
If he was,
I don't know. I know he's from Canada. He's from Toronto, right?
So I thought it was West Coast, because if it's West Coast, because we all know he wakes up around 4:00.
No.
West Coast is 9 hours behind.
If he was, if Tory Lanez was a company stock, I'd have been a billionaire by now. He used to bang his old stuff. Serious, man.
But yeah, no, even that's been.
Yeah, but that quarantine radio.
Yeah, people have been very creative in terms of what they come up with.
Quarantine radio is a.
Because even Mo the comedian, he's got his own show now on Channel 4, which is going to be coming out in a few weeks, and that's going to be hosted live from his house. I've tuned into his what was it? I forgot what's it called. Quarantine.
We should do a live. Us four guys, come on.
But we're in different locations. It'd only be two people at a time.
Yeah, it's only 2 at a time.
Well, let's do 2 at a time then.
Okay, you host it. So no, but even people have been very creative in what they've come up with, and it's just interesting to see, because I think in every situation, them lay opportunities for people to be innovative, to make money, to help people in different forms and methods, and whether it's form of entertainment, education, or a new way of doing things.
But do you think, Daniel? Do you know? Because you were saying there's more like fitness, more cooking and stuff. Do you think this is making people have new habits? For example, cooking themselves more, this type of stuff, exercising.
100%.
More exercise, I'm not sure, but cooking probably more.
Yeah, I think it's allowing people to create new habits, but also I think it eliminates people's excuse of I don't have enough time to do this. because this allows more time for people to, you know, even lunchtime, working from home, or whether you're not working at home, you have a lot more time to be creative, to try things that you've never done, and follow recipes. We've all probably given the excuse when we've been at work Monday to Friday, oh, I don't have enough time to do that. I get home, I'm tired, or I've got this to do, and then weekend I'm busy with this stuff. But now there is actually an excuse.
I would say if you have, and it's kind of harsh, but if you're single, right, and you have no commitments in terms of for your time, and you've had an idea that you've always wanted to do, and you're not doing it during this quarantine time, you're never going to do it. Like, I honestly feel like that means you don't have the passion for that particular idea or whatever you wanted to create, because this is so much free time right now for, like Daniel said, so many people being innovative. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be doing it, in my mind.
Say it with your chest, Ollie. Say it with your chest.
But Daniel, what point are we on now? The habits.
Well, yeah, we can touch on habits. What habits do we think we formed, whether they're good or bad? P, you can start.
I think probably the good habits is perhaps just strengthening the muscles around a routine and realizing that I think you live and die by your routine. We mentioned that in the last episode.
And die.
So I think that's probably been a good habit. What's a bad habit that's formed?
Opening that fridge too much.
Custard.
Oh, the snacks, bro.
Yeah. I've actually stopped.
Listen,
I didn't even have it in my apartment anymore because it was just too much.
Listen, right now, I think I've got like about 4 or 5 Jaffa Cake packs times of 3 times 20. It's wild. It's very, very wild. And the thing is, and the reason why I say one thing, that's a good point actually you mentioned, is that I'm making an excuse to reward ourselves for being indoors and enjoying the family time and enjoying ourselves. Let's snack, let's do our thing, a little small. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Listen, to the point where I don't know if we can go back to, like, we never used to have a cupboard of snacks. Now I could open up a shop. I got flake, manor house cake, Jaffa cake.
But you know when you guys buy
biscuits
on this topic, because actually I near the beginning of me not being able to leave Stockholm, I did the same thing where I was buying snacks, and the idea was that I would treat myself every day to a little bit of sweets, cake, or this type of stuff. And then after about a week, I realized that whenever I would buy anything, within 12 hours it was all gone.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be honest with you, and maybe I shouldn't even say this. Sometimes, the snacking has been so bad. Like let's say I would have bad. Let's say I would have snacked at 11, and usually you'd have a nice lunch, right? Vegetables, salmon. I'm not even hungry because I've snacked, and I've snacked again at 1, at 2, and so in essence, the Jaffa cakes are keeping me going. That's bad. That is really bad. Imagine saying, I don't want lunch. Why? Because I've had Kit Kat or a flake with some strawberry milkshake.
At your big age,
bro. I'm telling you.
You gotta watch.
I think for me, the bad habit, I'll say similar with the Pabilo, snacks. So whenever I go shopping,
truth is coming out now, boys.
Listen, I tell you, the best place to be right now is Daniel's kitchen. Promise you on everything. Daniel's kitchen.
So that would be the bad habit. Good habit that I picked up, really good habit, which I want to continue, is I started a 30-day yoga class.
I was gonna say, Ollie, you look stretched out and relaxed.
Oh my! I forgot I'm wearing shorts. I was gonna lift my legs all the way up. Then
can you touch your toes?
Huh?
Can you touch your toes?
That's basic. Yeah. I'm doing downward doggy. I'm doing all of
downward
these
what?
random.
Downward what?
You heard me.
Downward what?
No, but
Ollie, for real, what did you say?
Oh wait, no, what did you say?
Downward what?
Downward what?
Downward doggy. Downward doggy. Yeah.
Are you doing this alone?
Wait, hang on. Ollie, are you joking? Are you being serious right now?
Are you guys serious? I'm doing downward doggy.
Nah, he's joking. He's around.
You guys need to actually do this yoga session. So it's a 30-day yoga session, yeah. And
time out.
Peace finish.
Time out.
Ollie, just
Time out.
Ollie, just
Time out.
to-
Let's
just-
start this again. Let's start this again. Let's
Just
start.
to
You have to break it all the way down. Break
Yeah,
it. Who's teaching yoga? Where are you doing it?
Just to
room in the
clarify,
house?
who's
who doing it with? What are you wearing? Everything. Ollie, break it down.
Which
Let me go
website?
get my mat. One second.
It's
No,
not
no, hang on.
downward. It's not downward doggy. It's downward dog. That's why you're
Down.
confusing everyone. It's a downward dog. It's a position where you're basically like an arched V.
Obviously, Daniel.
Are there any other positions? Are there any other positions?
Obviously, I'm messing with these two. The downward dog is different from downward doggy. I know these two minds are messed up, especially Shawel, but downward dog, yes.
No, but Ollie's trying to twist it now. But
Yeah, because he said downward doggy.
Downward
he
dog.
100. No.
Downward-
You're doing downward doggy, bro.
Downward. So I go
It's not
downward
like
doggy.
it's not like Kama Sutra. Are you sure it's not Kama? You sure it's yoga? Are you sure? There's a difference.
So I'm doing my downward doggy position in terms of it's
Yo,
30 days.
Nandi, you gotta tear this up for clips, bro. This is crazy. I'm telling you.
It's
Go
30
on.
So can I finish my point? So it's 30-day yoga. So it's 30-day yoga on YouTube where you do a yoga position or you do a yoga session every single day.
Who's your teacher?
So is this woman called Adrian? Adrian. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yoga with Adrian. So she has a 30-day yoga session, and now I'm on day 15.
Adrian.
You said, yeah, you can check out. And in terms of prior to this quarantine, from football and everything, my knees, my lower back used to be aching. But this has allowed me to, I don't have any problems with my knees anymore. I've never been as flexible.
Seriously,
as I am right now. Honestly,
How long are the sessions, Ollie?
it's 20-minute sessions.
Yeah.
20-minute sessions where it's really difficult in terms of the positioning and everything that you do is difficult.
I can imagine downward doggy. That's probably tough one for you.
I'll tell you, it's tough, but you can work on the arch of your back. You'll get it after a few.
I think I got the tech for it, boy. Trust me. Olu, send me the link.
I can vouch for Olu because Melissa and I, we've been doing this. Chris Hemsworth. It's a 6-week plan from, I think he's Thanos. I don't know Marvel, but it's Chris Hemsworth. So he has like a plan of you can choose basic, intermediate, or advanced of like different hit training and hit sessions. And the first session was actually Pilates, and we did again Pilates today. And I've been recommended Pilates so many times from my osteopath and my a specialist I see, and I haven't done it. And then I did it, and today's one, oh my gosh, Pilates will get you sweating.
I highly recommend it to especially Pabila. I know your knees ain't that strong.
It's really good.
They're fine.
No, honestly,
they're fine.
You do it. You'll be like,
they're fine.
Thank you very much. It's your breathing. It's all about your breathing.
I'm with you. My breathing. Yeah, I'm with you.
I've done a few classes before, yoga classes before, and you see like these elderly people in the corner, like totally embarrassing you in terms of the positioning, the balance, everything. So this is a safe place where you could do it. It's only 20-30 minutes max. So every night, yeah.
But it's intense.
Do you do in the morning or evening, or what's the?
I do in the evening just before bed. So like just before bed,
getting stretched out, warmed up, yeah, big man.
you get your yoga mat out.
Quarantine,
and you do it. And I would say it's definitely
quarantine.
Quarantine. Oh no,
down with doggy.
Every time. 5 minutes after Tory Lane.
Check the guidelines. Check the guidelines.
He's calling me again. Fuck, you relax, man.
But no, it's definitely a habit that I highly recommend, and I'm planning to do afterwards as well. It's like my body feels amazing.
But it does, Chester.
Do you use any oils? No.
Okay. No oils involved.
No oils involved. Yeah, I'm gonna have to holler Lauren for some.
I'm gonna send you the link. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, drop that, B.
So, Shawel, do you want to quickly share your kind of good and bad habits, and then I can close this off?
To be honest, I don't really have anything much to add, because my bad habit period was just when I was ill and I couldn't really get off the.
Come on, that's a cheap one. Come on, there must be a bad.
No. Apart from what you guys were saying, the snacking, which I already explained a little bit, that was something that I was struggling with a bit, so I just stopped.
Was it that easy to stop?
No, I mean it's you know what James Clear talks about. It's difficult to find the willpower to stop something bad. So the easiest thing to do is just completely take it out of the environment. So
Yeah.
after the first week or two, when I kept buying it and I was consuming everything very quickly, now I basically don't buy it at all. So I don't have it around my apartment. And then on Saturdays, I allow myself to eat it. Then I go to the store and I just get one or two single items of things that I consume on that day. But I don't buy any multi-packs and stuff anymore. That's probably it. When I was ill, the meditation went out the window, exercise went out the window. I was just watching stuff on Netflix I did not give two craps about. And now that I'm back into my healthy routine, I'm good actually. So that's it really. I could probably read a bit more than I am.
Yeah, I agree.
That's something I'm trying to get back into again as well now after the weekend. What It Takes, Stephen Schwartzman, legend. All right, cool. Daniel,
I'd say quickly, bad habits I've formed is probably waking up and just rolling out of bed. I'll be honest, because the thing is, I still wake up early, but I just don't get out of bed and start my day. I wait close to the start of my working day, which is 8 o'clock before I get ready. But other good habits I've formed are I would work out in the morning with Melissa, and also maybe at lunchtime, depending on how many workouts are in that particular scheduled.
I get notified every time you get a little workout.
You saw my Pilates one day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So that's been a good habit, and also going for walks in the evening has been a good habit just to get some fresh air and help aid digestion after dinner. So that would be in terms of summary good habits, and obviously, of course, I mentioned at the beginning of the episode things I've picked up and been able to focus and give a lot more attention to, which have been productive and also allowed me to improve my skills, develop and learn more. YouTube's been a great aid.
One quick question, Daniel, on the walking, and actually for the other guys as well, because obviously at the moment, especially more so in the UK, you're not allowed to do as much activity and stuff. So this regular walking, a lot of my friends and families, they were also probably walking more than they did before around their local areas. Are you walking different routes every time, or you're just doing the same route because you know a particular distance?
We most likely start off on the same route because it's a nice scenic route, but it'll be different depending on how long we want to walk for, what we want to see, the time of day as well. So it varies. Yeah, it varies, but it's even if it's the same route, there's always something new we see or learn.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm trying because I'm getting a bit bored of the walk that I'm doing, but maybe I should just try a different one.
The only thing I wanted to add, maybe a bit random, but I think it speaks more to the point of gratitude. I think I know I can just get the sense that a lot of us are sort of complaining at being stuck indoors and sort of wanting to know when we're going to sort of have the restriction lifted. And, it hit me the other day, and I guess because we're in property, it came to mind, and I was thinking to myself, we're in an apartment, we don't have a garden, and I could complain, I don't have a garden, we have to go out to get fresh air. But imagine those who are living in sort of HMO rooms or sharers, and they have to stay in their room, or they're in a single room or double room. So I just think it was just every now and then what happens during this period of quarantine, you kind of have these moments of real gratification, and not pretending to be in the morning like it really does hit you. So I just think we should intentionally practice it more and recognize it more.
Agreed.
That's important.
And I think you've summed up the episode nicely to say, whilst we're going through this, we've got a lot to be grateful for. A lot to be grateful for. Just open your eyes and look around. So with that said, thank you all for tuning into episode 51 of Take Flight Podcast. We really hope in these times you, your family and your loved ones stay well and keep well. Follow government guidelines as well. Let's all be wise in our decision making. But for now, that's it. Stay tuned. Any feedback you have for us, hit us up on Facebook, on Instagram at Take Flight Podcast, or you can email us at takeflightpodcast@gmail.com. Take care and God bless. See you next week.
Take off, take